All right, Shalom. Want to start by saying, Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim, continue to preach the truth and all true sincerity. All right, real quick, as the title reads, it says, E is trying to undo his undoing and is failing miserably because, excuse me, as far as Esau as a whole, he's losing his reign on the earth, but especially America. All right, being that America was Esau's main catalyst to perpetrate his wickedness. As far as and particularly, as of right now, you have the petrodollar, the U.S. dollar, losing its dominance right now, and it's losing because of this what's going on with this Iranian war. Now, a little backdrop, a little backstory. Basically, 1974. I'm gonna read the article too, but basically in 1974, I believe Nixon was the president. Basically, the dollar became the world's currency to trade oil, purchase oil and whatnot. And that's going on in June. That was in June of 1974. So now it's going to be in June of this year. It's going to be 52 years of it going down. Now, over the last couple years, it's been taking hits because for you have the BRICS, the formation of the BRICS nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and you had a lot of countries basically, getting down with that system. Now, ultimately, the dollar is still the world's currency as far as regarding oil and shit, but basically, what's happening is it's losing its power, it's losing its grip. All right, and that's basically goes to part of the undoing because what's happening right now, the whole thing with Trump calling it ceasefire, everything is regarding around the Strait of Hormuz as far as with the closure of it, with this impact on the global economy, and it's not a good effect. All right, it's actually a very negative impact it's having, and now nations, including America, all throughout the world, are starting to feel the burden of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Now, I have an article because a brother posted in our group chat about basically about the I think it said this title, and then what the brother posted, it says the Iran war just broke the petrodollar because the U.S. dollar being the petrodollar that is the currency that was used to buy and trade oil. Now that's being affected because the Strait of Hormuz being closed, and now you have Iran with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. They're saying that if you want to do business with it, through it or whatever, you have to use the Chinese yuan. Now, people are on it like the economics of it. I'm not some big economics dude, but I know that Esau, trifles with his money, and basically his money is his god, or one of his gods, his main god. All right. So now that his god is losing, that's what made his god, his idol, which is his money, so powerful because you had it backed by gold and then it wasn't, and then it was backed by the oil. But now it's not backed by the oil or the gold. So now it's really in trouble, and it's really taking a downward spiral, and it's a quick one. All right. And now you have all these other nations that are holding U.S. treasuries, holding dollars because of the whole thing with the petrodollar it being, but now that's fading away. And that goes to show how the Lord said, and we'll get the scripture, how the Lord said he was going to do all that afflicted. Now, who's afflicted the Israelites more than America and more than Esau, Edom? All right, so again to this article, so it says, this is from the Business Times, but there's plenty of articles on it. I initially seen it in Bloomberg News, so it's credible information. So it says the Iran war just broke the petrodollar. For the first time since 1996, which is 30 years ago? For the first time since 1996, global central banks now hold more gold than U.S. government bonds. The war is making this look like a signal. The virtuous loop that has seen America underwrite stability in the Middle East in exchange for Gulf states recycling their dollar revenues into U.S. treasuries has been broken. The understanding traces back to 1974 when Henry Kissinger struck one of the most consequential financial deals in modern history. Saudi Arabia will price its oil in dollars and park the surpluses in U.S. assets, treasuries above all. See? And that's how it started, 1974. And so other Gulf states followed. In exchange, America provided security guarantees and a stable global order, which America is not promised taking keeping the end of the bargain right now, because what's going on with Iran is definitely no stable global order. If anything, it's a lot of disorder now. And you have a lot of these Middle Eastern countries, you have a lot of American, their own allies within the EU and NATO that are also feeling the sting of this Strait of Hormuz being closed. It said the arrangement was elegant in its circularity. Oil consumers paid dollars for energy. Those dollars flowed to Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, and from there back into Washington's debt. For 50 years, this petrodollar loop quietly subsidized American borrowing costs and cemented the greenback's role as the world's reserve currency, which that's how it got strong. But now the Lord is what? He's undoing it, because now the Lord is saying what? Babylon is fallen, it is fallen. Now, if the money, the US dollar, would made it very strong, it would made it whole, why would that not be the thing that the Lord is taking down? So it said currency. It said the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran has fractured this arrangement at both ends. Has fractured this arrangement at both ends. Start with the importing side. Since the strike on Iran on February 28th, foreign central banks have been net sellers of treasuries for 5 consecutive weeks, holding that the Federal Reserve Bank of New York have dropped by roughly $82 billion to $2.2 trillion, the lowest level since 2012. The 10-year Treasury yield, rather than falling on safe haven demand as it has in every major recent crisis, climbed from 3.9% at the end of February to above 4.4% within weeks. The rates desk at Bank of America offered a dry summary. Foreign official sectors are selling U.S. Treasury bonds. And that's what's going to start to happen. They're going to start getting rid of their holdings of the U.S. dollar in these other countries. Because now, if Iran is saying, if they're now putting a squeeze on everything and saying, hey, we're not going, that petrodollar shit is done. All right? And it shows who has the real leverage. And that America, that the Lord allowed them to have that happen from 1974 up until now. But now the Lord is what? He's now undoing it. All right, and this is all about the spirit and power and will of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's why Babylon is fallen. It's not just the nuclear destruction that's destined for this place, but even before the nukes. It said the mechanism is straightforward. It says Turkey, India, Thailand, and other oil importing nations are caught in a brutal arithmetic. Oil price in dollars has surged past $100 a barrel, and their currencies have weakened against the greenback. To limit this depreciation, which would push domestic oil prices even higher, forcing either fiscal subsidies or household pain, central banks intervene in currency markets. That requires dollars. The most liquid dollar asset any central bank holds are treasuries, so they sell. This is not without precedent. Foreign central banks sold a record $109 billion in treasuries during the C-19 panic of March 2020, but that episode resolved quickly. The Fed deployed dollar swap lines, called return, and the money flowed back within weeks. The flight to quality instinct was temporarily scrambled, but structurally intact. Every other major crisis since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, China's separate routing against Taiwan in August 2022, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in March 2023, and October 7, 2023, Hamas attacks on Israel sent money into treasuries, not out of them. Yields fell, the playbook worked. Now consider the exporting side and why the Iran war is categorically different from all those episodes. In a normal oil shock, rising prices generate rising revenues for Gulf producers. Petrodollars flow back into dollar-denominated assets, including treasuries. High oil prices have historically been paradoxically supportive of the treasury market. The shock creates the surplus that generates demand for the bonds. This time, Gulf producers can't get their oil out. The Strait of Hormuz closure has stranded their barrels along with everyone else's. See, that's Iran showing their leverage in the oil industry. And it's beyond just the dollar backing it, being a petrodollar, but now the very thing in question, which is the petrol, the oil, is now at a standstill because now the Strait of Hormuz is closed, so there's no business taking place. It says Gulf states including Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates collectively cut production by at least 10 million barrels a day in March. Saudi Arabia and the UAE can export reduced volumes through alternative pipelines. But you see, didn't Iran just attack something in the UAE, a gas facility? It said, but those routes handle only about a quarter of normal straight through throughput at full capacity, and they're under active Iranian drone and missile threat. Yup. Because Iran just attacked something in the UAE, a gas facility, a couple days ago. It says Qatar declared force majeure on exports of liquefied natural gas after strikes on its Ras Laffan facility. The Gulf Cooperation Council's economic model export hydrocarbons recycled into global assets has effectively seized up. The petrodollar loop requires two moving parts. Dollars earned and dollars invested both have stopped. The numbers on the exporting side make this concrete. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE had a combined holding of about $300 billion in treasuries as of January. These countries are now simultaneously earning less oil revenue, spending heavily on air defense, and reviewing the investment pledges they made to Washington just months ago. A Gulf official told Financial Times that some of the region's largest economies are examining whether force majeure clauses apply to existing investment commitments, including to the U.S. Gulf sovereign wealth funds are big investors in U.S. assets. The direction of travel is now uncertain in a way it has not been in decades. There is a longer structural story that the war is accelerating rather than creating. The share of treasuries held by foreign investors had already fallen to around 32%, down from half in the early 2010s. Central banks became net sellers in early 2025 for the first time since 1996. Global central banks now hold more gold in aggregate than U.S. government funds. These are slow-moving trends, easy to dismiss as noise. The Iran war is making them look like signal. The standard reassurance is that there is no alternative to treasuries. No other market offers the depth, liquidity, and legal infrastructure that central banks require. This remains true. Foreign central banks will not abandon treasury wholesale, but no realistic alternative and unquestioned safe haven are not the same thing, and the Iran war is clarifying the difference. Now, basically what's being said is the Iranian war is destroying the dollar. And you know what? That's probably ultimately the goal of the central banking families and the elites. But it's ultimately the goal of who? The Lord. Because why? The Lord is about to undo Esau and Babylon the Great. Now, hold up. Oops. Hold up. Okay, okay. I want to get, how do, come on, oh, hold it, bear with me. I'm trying to, okay. Okay. Okay, hold on. I don't know how the fuck. Okay, here we go. Okay, I got you. Got it. Got it. Okay, got you. Now we're gonna go into the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3. Okay, so how can I? I want to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Boom. Got it. Got it. Oh, fuck. Yeah. What? Hold on. Bear with me. I'm trying to put. NLT. Okay. Okay. Why is it not? Okay, fuck it. So this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3. I'm reading King James, but I'm also reading the NLT. So it says, I'm gonna go right here. So this is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 14. It's the King James. And it says, oops. It says, sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. That's about the Israelites. Oops. The Lord hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. Because that's basically talking about in the kingdom, man. And what's going to happen is, as time is going on, we're getting closer to actually ruling on the earth. Because as right now, the Edomites, so-called white people, they're the ones ruling on the planet Earth right now. They're the ones calling the shots. So when we talk about the elites, we talk about the central banking families, we talk about the small heads, they're all Edomites, man. Come here, this is an extension of the Roman Empire. This is the same Roman Empire that Paul was in. This is the same Roman Empire that YAHAWASHI, our Lord, was in. That our Lord was crucified in. This is the same Roman Empire that the disciples prophesied in. This is the same Roman Empire where YAHAWASHI was resurrected in. So like what's happening right now, we're living in some very prophetic last day times. And Esau can't undo his undoing. The Lord has already set, the Lord has already declared the end from the beginning. The Lord said, yeah, Esau, you was going to rule, but said what? For Esau, at the end of the world, Jacob's the beginning of it that followeth. It said, the Lord thy God is in the midst of thee. It said, the Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. That's over who though? The Israelites. And that's starting right now with the prophets and with the elect, which we all hope to be part of the elect. That's why we say what? The hopeful elect. Because right now the time is fast approaching for the time we all gonna find out who we are. That's why we said we hope to be part of the elect. We hope to receive, we hope to obtain mercy. We hope our sins are forgiven. You know, I'm going to the NLT. This blue letter is pissing me off. Because I can't download the app on this work phone. Oops. Okay, here we go. I like the NLT version better. Zephaniah. So I'm going to the NLT because I like the NLT better. So there's the book of Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 14 in the NLT. It says, sing, O daughter of Zion, which are the Israelites. Shout aloud, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all your heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. For the Lord will remove his hand. Yeah, for the Lord will remove his hand of judgment and will disperse the armies of your enemy. And the Lord himself, the King of Israel, will live among you. And that's talking about who first and foremost, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And then YAHAWASHI going to be on the earth with us. YAHAWASHI is actually going to be in the midst of the elect and the nation, the whole nation of Israel, and the kingdom to come. And the kingdom of Yasharallah, which is going to be under YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly called Jesus. Be over. It said, at least your troubles will be over, and you will never again fear disaster. We will never again fear disaster. We're never going to be carted away in the cargo slave ships. We're never going to be in captivity again after this. We're never going to go off. We're never going to sin. We're never going to commit iniquity. Idolatry. The Lord is going to put his inward parts. He's going to put his law in our inward parts. The Lord about to clean us up. He about to jazz us up, man. He about to make us a nation of kings and priests, as was said to be from jump, but we went off. All right. This is Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 16 in the NLT. It says, on that day the announcement to Jerusalem will be, cheer up, Zion, don't be afraid, for the Lord your God is living among you. He is a mighty Savior. He will take delight in you with gladness. With his love, he will calm all your fears. He will rejoice over you with joyful songs. And that's talking about in the kingdom, man. But it starts right now. Hell, we're singing a song right now. We go out there in the highways and the byways, do these videos. We're doing these things in the joy and in the love of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and his love towards us. Because now the Lord has awakened us. The Lord has awakened his remnant. Lord, I would say, hope to be part of the remnant, hope to be part of the elect. Because as of right now, the Lord has men awakened. The Lord has given us his name back. The Lord has given us the truth. The Lord has woken us up. So now, so soon enough, it's gonna be that time for judgment and this place to be destroyed and for the elect to be delivered up out of here. That's what's coming. All right. Verse 18, it says, I will gather you who mourn for the appointed festivals. You will be disgraced no more. What? You will be disgraced no more. We're in a disgraceful state of mind right now. We're in a disgraceful point of our existence right now. Here it is. We're under the base of men right now. Under the nation which the Lord said he hated, which is the nation of Esau, Edom. But that's why the Lord said, what? I will undo all those that afflict thee. I will undo all those that afflict thee, man. And I believe that's verse 19. But it's in the NLT, though. It said that in the King James. So this is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 19, and it reads, and I will deal severely with all who have oppressed you. He said he's going to deal severely with all those that have oppressed us. Who is thee? Who is the you? The Israelites. That's the Lord chosen nation. That's what the Lord cares about. The Israelites. Start with the elect of Israel. It says, and I will deal severely with all who have oppressed you. I will save the weak and helpless ones. I will bring together those who were chased away. I will give glory and fame to my former exiles. And we're exiled out of where? The nation, the land of Israel. So those people over there in the land of Israel now, they're not fitting the prophecy. Because we don't see a divine power living amongst them. And they didn't receive a spectacular deliverance to get into that land. Here it is. You got the actual whore of Babylon still existing, but these cocksuckers in the land of Israel are supposed to be the Israelites? When the Lord said that when the nation of Israel went back to the land of Israel, the nation shall learn war no more. What the hell is everybody doing right now? War. And not just any war. Well, at least we're in the war to end all wars, but if those are the Israelites, there would be no the war to end all wars would already happen. Which is going to show that those aren't the real Israelites in the land of Israel right now. And they're still being made afraid. All right, but continuing on. It said, I will give glory and fame to my former exiles, wherever they have been mocked and shamed. And we've been mocked and shamed all throughout the earth, but especially here in America. That whore. That whore that all the nations live deliciously off of, that were made rich off her delicacies. Made a real nice profit off this whore. But now it's over. And it's the land where we were mocked and put to shame the most. That's why when the delivery comes, it's going to be a great delivery. That's not those people in Israel right now. They didn't go through a excruciating captivity. Yeah, they could talk about the cost all they want, but that wasn't real. That wasn't real. And if you want to talk about anything, the Lord said that no man shall buy you, no man shall redeem you. Here it is. You got America, the whore, Babylon the Great, giving these motherfuckers billions of dollars every year. On top of billions, going to war for them. So how the hell are they the Israelites when it said that they were going to be persecuted in the land of Babylon the Great? You were going to be delivered out of Babylon the Great. It said it oppressed the children of Judah. Those aren't the Jews over there now then. They're not getting oppressed by America. They're not being oppressed by the whore. So something's not adding up. Something's not right. Verse 20 says, on that day I will gather you together and bring you home again. And home is what? The land of Israel. Here it is. They talk about they're the Israelites, but yet you're only saying you're the Jews, so that means what? You're the children of Judah? Where's the other tribes at? Where was your bickering? Y'all wasn't bickering at each other. And why does the whole world hate you? The Lord said that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourneth. You're in authority. You run everything. You own everything. And now look at everybody's mourning. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's sad. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's about at wit's end right now because under your watch and then your kingdom. Esau, Edom, the wicked. Which goes to show that's how we know that you're not the Israelites. When the Israelites get in power, when the Israelites rule, first off, they were going to be immortal. All right? They were going to be immortal. They said that you should be sanctified in the sight of many nations. When did it happen for them? The Balfour Declaration, and then what? You just put on some broad caps and some curly fried beards and said what? We're the children of Israel now? We're the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Yeah, you're the descendants of Abraham and Isaac, but then you're a descendant of Esau. You small heads that's in Israel, you Americans like Trump, Vance, P. Hegseth, you're all Edomites. And the Lord, we're just getting started yet, but the Lord is dealing severely with you right now. He's tearing away your kingdom as we speak, every day, every minute, every hour, every second. If I'm going to read that in the King James. Hold on, do I got my... Oh no, that's inside. So I'm gonna read that in the King James real quick. Oops. Okay. Oh shit, okay. Fuck. Oh, to bear with. Yes. Read that in the King James 3, chapter 3, verse 19. So this is the book, and this is where I got this inspiration in this video, because now the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM is undoing Esau. And starting and before he completely does him with these missiles, he's gonna do me financially, mentally, because right now you're being mentally broke down, because now you're standing with your enchantments, but now everybody sees through you. Everybody see that you're lying. All right. So this is the book of Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 19 in the King James, and it reads, "Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, with the exiles." And it says, "And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame." So not just America, throughout the whole earth, but especially here in America, because this is where it happened the worst. There's the worst captivity. This is where we're discontinued from our heritage. This here, we were under the fucking so-called white man, which is the Edomites that the Bible speaks of. All the other nations were made rich, came over here, got high above us. Remember the Lord said, what, the stranger shall get high above thee? That happened a lot, and that happened mostly in America, man. You got the Moabites, these Elamites, these Ishmaelites, Hamites, Japhites, whoever coming to America, prospering. But here it is, we've been here for hundreds of years, centuries, and we can't even get a lick of nothing. But that goes into what? That goes into prophecy. Jeremiah, what, the 30th chapter, where it talks about what is it said? Our flip. Matter of fact, I'm just get to it real quick. I read verse 22 real quick, because Zephaniah, finish it off. So it says, "At that time will I bring you again, even the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord." And that's what's about to happen. And that's what's happening now. The Lord is turning back our captivity. Oh shit. Okay, here we go. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16, and it reads, "Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be, and thee is the Israelites. And they that spoil thee, and they is those other nations, starting with Esau, Edom. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey." Because what? Everything's going to turn around. The Lord's going to do a 180. We're going to have the upper hand. We're going to have the power. We're going to have the dominion. We're going to have the reign. That's what we're waiting for. That's what's fastly approaching. That's why time is going by so fast. That's why this kingdom is just tanking more and more every day. Just tanking more and more. Just tanking more and more. Just going down more and more. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Getting more expensive. Getting more everything's just getting ridiculous. It's to the point now you even got Edomites, so-called white people, complaining about how it is in America. Now, especially in America, but the whole earth. But especially here in America, because America's what? Babylon the Great. This is the worst of them all. It says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, who no man seeketh after. And in the NLT it says, who no man cares for. Because nobody cares about our misfortunes. You don't see the world trying to see, yo, let's do something for the so-called minorities in America. Here it is, you got in this land, the Edomites not doing shit for Jake, but here it is, you got them doing shit for the small hats, where whatever they went through didn't even take place on this land. And they giving them billions and billions of dollars. Talk about adding insult to injury. But hold up, what I wanted to get out. One more. Let's finish off with that. My phone about to die, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 17, and I'm going to jump. Matter of fact, I'm going to start 16. It says, and I put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundation of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people. Now, that's Zion is the Israelites. Verse 17, it says, awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which is the people before a place, which are the Israelites, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. And that's what we're drinking right now. That's what our captivity is about. That's what all this oppression is about. That's what all this affliction is about from these other nations. It was a punishment from YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Cup of his fury. Thou had drunk at the hand of cup of his fury, and says, thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. So we drunk it all. All right. It says, verse 18, it says, there is none to guide her among all the sons whom she had brought forth. Neither there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons she had brought up. These two things are come unto, verse 9, these two things are come unto thee, who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword, but whom shall I comfort thee? And we go up in that other verse, it's all she had brought forth, because what? No, aside from Yahawashi, no man was able to deliver the Israelites. No man that was born was able to deliver the Israelites. But now you have what? We have the hope in Yahawashi. That's why Yahawashi is so important. But continuing on, it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Verse 21. But here's the flip side of it, because here's the change. It wasn't going to be like this for the Israelites forever. So in verse 21, it says, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. But what we drunk with? We're drunk with the cup of the Lord's judgment. That's what we're drunk with. Drunken off our idolatry, off our wickedness, off our fornication, off of our iniquity, which in part is the reason why we're drinking the cup of the Lord's judgment, which is the fury, which is why we're in this predicament, which is why we're allowed to be whipped and lynched, brought over here in cargo slave ships, told our name was Toby. Last hired, first fired. Discrimination. Discrimination, and what's the other word? Starts with a P. I think it's discrimination, and I forget the other one. But yeah, man, all of what we're going through right now, just put it like that, everything we're going through right now, our blood being shed and no justice for it, our people at each other's throats, evil eye towards their brother, evil eye towards their wife and husband, and or husband, whichever or. children disrespecting their parents, adultery, idolatry, and the list goes on. But he said, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord, and thy God, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, that pleadeth the cause of his people, and his people are the Israelites. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, because this is the last of it. Hey, pertaining to Lamentation, the 4th chapter, the last couple verses. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. All right? It says, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which are who are the afflictors of us right now, the main ones? Esau, Edom. And he said, what? I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and has the street to them that went over. What? Walking all over, walking, the term what? Walking all over us. Walking all over us. Symbolically and physically. You had the one picture back in the day, the slave master got his feet rested on a young Jake boy's stomach like a fucking footrest. And that's the very stuff that the Lord said. What? That's the cup of the Lord's fury. To have these fucking bastards, these devils being able to do what they have done to us. And not get in trouble. But now what? The time is up. Now it's time for them to get in trouble. Now it's time for them to drink of the cup. Because the Lord said, well, I'm going to put that cup in your enemy's hands. Matter of fact, let me get that in NLT. Book list, Isaiah. Chapter 51. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 11 in the NLT. And this one's extra good. It says, those who have been ransomed by the Lord will return. They will enter Jerusalem singing, crowned with everlasting joy. Sorrow and mourning will disappear, and it will be filled with joy and gladness. Now, that's not the people over there right now. They're not filled with joy and gladness. They're actually fleeing the land of Israel because of what? War. Which goes to show that those are not the real Israelites. That's not how it's going to play out. All right? Verse 12, it says, yes, I am the one who comforts you. That's about the Lord. So why are you afraid of mere humans who wither like the grass and disappear? What? That's what the Lord is saying. Why you fear mere humans? It says, yet you have forgotten the Lord your creator, the one who stretched out the sky like a canopy and laid the foundation of the earth, where you remain in constant dread of human oppressors? Will you continue to fear the anger of your enemies? Where is their fury and anger now? It is gone. Verse 14, soon all you captives will be released. Imprisonment, starvation, and death will not be your fate. Because what? We about to get up out of this prison. We about to get up out of this captivity. That's a promise from the Lord. Thus it was written. Verse 15 of Isaiah chapter 51, it says, for I am the Lord your God, who stirs up the sea, causing waves to roar. My name is the Lord of heaven's armies. And I've put my words in your mouth and hitting you safely in my hand. I stretched out the sky like a canopy and laid the foundation of the earth. I am the one who says to Israel, you are my people. He ain't saying that to them small hats over there right now. There's no Hashem giving them some kind of love and power. No. Verse 17, it says, wake up, O Jerusalem. You have drunk of the cup of the Lord's fury. You have drunk the cup of terror, tipping out its last drop. So we drunk all that of the Lord's fury. It says tipping out its last drops. Not one of your children is left alive to take you hand and guide you. These two calamities have fallen on you, desolation and destruction, famine and war. And who is left to sympathize with you? Who is left to comfort you? But that's what the beauty of YAHAWASHI, because what? He is the comforter now. It says, for your children have fainted and lie in the streets, helpless as antelopes caught in a net. The Lord has poured out his fury. YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI has rebuked them. But now listen to this, you afflicted ones, and who sit in a drunken stupor, though not from drinking wine. This is what the sovereign Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, your God and defender, says. See, I've taken a terrible cup from your hands, and the Lord has taken a cup from our hands, the cup of his fury, and what? It says, see, I have taken a terrible cup from your hands. You will drink no more of my fury. Instead, I will hand that cup to your tormentors, those who said, we will trample you into dust and walk on your backs. And that's what happened. That's what's happening. But the Lord is what? He's about to take that cup from us and put it into their hands. Esau and these other nations. Because they've all had a part in this. Why do you think that the Lord said what? They lived deliciously with the whore and with Esau. These other nations had a part in our downfall, and they were in league in line with Esau to oppress us and to be over us. Hell, the Esau used these other nations to oppress us. It's part of the curses. Where the Lord said, "What? You should be the head. You should be the tail. You should be smitten by the hand of your enemies." Esau would do anything for these other nations just to oppress us, man. But now that time is up. Now you're drinking of this cup now. That's what they did. That's why the Lord said, "What? You didn't consider your latter end. You didn't consider that soon the cup was going to pass through unto thee, O daughter of Edom." Our punishment, the punishment of our iniquity is accomplished. Now is the time for your punishment to come. Now is the time for your punishment to start. The cup now shall pass through unto thee. The Lord is going to give you the cup of his fury now for you to drink. And you're going to take every last drop. You're going to take every last drop. All right? So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM KAKADASH. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.